Hey y'all. Oh, I'm so excited. We're back. Okay, let me focus. We are back with another episode of A Little Less Chaos, and I'm Sonya W. I'm super excited that we are here. We, of course, are in season 3, where we're talking about being intentional with every single thing that we do. And today, we're going to be talking about building intentional space in our lives and in our schedules, because that is another key to living intentionally. When we're actually able to build space, we're able to dream for real, right? Life should not be walls to wall, right? It should not be things happening every single moment of your life, because how will you have the moments that you need to actually dream and make those dreams meet reality in your life? Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And then, as usual, we're going to end up with a dream boost prayer to make sure that we are praying about building space in our lives. So let's get into this topic. You need to build intentional space in your schedule. You do. You actually do. Because it is super important to seeing your life flourish in the way that you need it to flourish. I'm going to talk about this later in the season, but I'm going to be talking about actually intentional rest. And that is another key to being intentional with your life, because God has made you to have rest. He's made you in such a way that you need to actually take a moment to breathe. So that you can make the impact that you need to make, so that you can actually do what you were called to do in this season. So you need to build time in your schedule. But I know I hear you. You're yelling, but Sonya, I have a million things to do. I have all the things to do. I don't have time to make space. Well, do you need to be doing all of those things? I'm just asking. I'm just curious. Do you have to do all the things that you've been saying that you need to do? Because, I don't think you actually do. But no, for real. I think sometimes we get bogged down in the busyness of life, and we forget why we're even here. What's the purpose? Where's our values? Where are the things that are important? And I talked about that earlier in the season, where we talked about actually establishing your values so that you can say yes to the right things and no to the right things, right? So really build out those things. Actually make a moment, take a time to figure out what you value in life, okay? First, let me back up. So now you realize that you have to make intentional space in your schedule, right? You understand the importance. You understand that you can't just be going, nonstop, because your body wasn't made to be able to do that. And then how in the world are you going to dream? How in the world are you going to make your dreams happen if you don't have time to rest? That's a whole nother thing. But let me tell you how you can do this. Now, I have something called the Dream Week template, where it kind of breaks all this down and you can build your own. You can color it in. It's really fun. If you want it, holler at me, link below, okay? But let me break down the key components of the Dream Week. The first thing is that you have to establish what you value and establish what you can't change. Okay? Sometimes we talk about our schedules and we have a million things going on, a million things from morning to evening, right? But some of those things are non-negotiable, like, you do have to work. You do have your 9 to 5 or whatever schedule you have. So that's a non-negotiable time. So build that time and put that in your schedule. Then you have things that you value. Perhaps it's working out. Perhaps it's prayer. Perhaps it is hanging out with your children. Perhaps it's reading books. Begin to build those things in your schedule as well. So for instance, for me, some of the important things is that I'm moving my body almost every day. Almost every day. And then, of course, prayer is super important. So I'm doing that every day. And I establish that in my mornings. I'm going to talk about building your intentional morning, because I think that is another key in your life a little bit later in the season. But that's a couple of things that I do in my morning, because I know that's important to me. So figure out what's important to you and start plugging it into that schedule. Plugging in your sleep, because sleep is important. We're not supposed to be living life off of 5 hours of sleep. I know people say that. I know. But how you living? How you actually living? Okay? Build in those non-negotiable times and build in those things that you value. And then I know you have dreams and goals, right? So now it's time to build in those goals. Now it's time to build in the things, the routines that's going to help you reach those goals. Maybe you have a very specific goal about how you eat and you have to put in meal prep time. You plug that in then. Or maybe you're very serious about spending time with your kids, right? So you build in that time daily into your schedule, however you want to do it, right? Maybe y'all have like family game nights, I don't know, right? But you put that in your schedule. And then you build out that dream week accordingly. You build out and you put in the time with your family. You put in your workout time. You put in that big old chunk of time. That's your job. And then at the end of that, you actually should see some white space. You should see some white space, and you should keep some white space so that you have space to breathe, so that there's time for change, so that there's time for things when things go crazy, because things are going to go crazy in life, okay? Everything's not going to be perfect. And one of the cool things about building your own dream week is that you're actually able to assess life ahead of time. Right? You're able to say, okay, this is the dream this is my week. This is what, if everything goes as according to plan, this is what's happening, and it's great. And then when you do your weekly review, we're going to talk about that, by the way. But when you do your weekly review, you can assess the appointments that you have in your life. Maybe you got a doctor's appointment. Maybe you got some new, I don't know, I can't even think of an appointment now. I can't even think of something now. But maybe you got a doctor appointment in the week coming. Now you're able to look at your dream week and then look at your actual week and see what needs to change so that you're actually still making progress with the things that are important to you every single week. So that's what is so important. Make space to dream. Make space to make those dreams a reality. I've given you a couple of pointers on how to do that, and I hope that this helps you a whole lot, okay? Because I want you to flourish. I want you to dream. I want you to make the impact that you were supposed to make and kill the chaos in your life, all right? So let's go ahead and get into that dream boost prayer. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much. Thank you for the life that you've given us. Show us how to balance between what we need to do, what we want to do, and building space in our life so that we can have room to breathe, room to dream. You told us to expand our tent pegs. So show us how to expand them and expand our lives with the right space and time so that we can see it happen. Help us to make those dreams meet reality. All right, y'all. Well, that is it for this week. I hope you're going to be building space in your schedule, and make sure that if you haven't already, join the email list so that you can actually begin to produce words that produce life, okay? And so that you can truly live your life with intentionality. See y'all next time. Bye.